Creating an attribute block requires a few simple steps, and it is very straightforward and easy. Before I create an attribute block, I'd like to show you the process that takes place when you insert an attribute block. I'm going to select Insert, Block. I already have Uniform Scale turned on. I'm going to set it to the scale of 32. This is based on the viewport. I will now select OK. I am specifying that point to be here. And currently the prompts appear in the command line. I'm going to change this in a moment so that I get a window. But continuing, I will select floor plan as the title, and I will keep the scale, and there is the attribute block. I would rather see a dialog box, so I'm going to type the system variable ATTDIA. Currently the dialog box is set to 0, which means it is turned off. I'm going to set it to 1 and enter. Now, inserting this block again and selecting OK. Selecting the insertion point, I'll place it here. I now have a dialog box. This is really the way to go. I'm going to cancel, and now I'm going to explode this attribute, and again, trying to understand attributes. By exploding it, it breaks it down to its two individual entities. If I double click it, it shows me the attribute definition. Currently, the tag is title, the prompt that I saw asked me for the title, and the default value was floor plan. For the scale, very similar. Scale and a default value. With this information in mind, we can now go ahead and create our own attribute. I'm going to select Draw, selecting Block, selecting Define Attributes. Tag, prompt, and value. We saw that just a few seconds ago. And I'm going to create a new attribute. The tag will be VTC title. The prompt will be and the value, a simple default value. I will select VTC. I can change the justification, the style, height, and rotation. I definitely want to change the height and set this to 1/4 inch. That way, when I insert the block attribute, I change the scale within that window. And of course, 32 multiplied by 1/4 inch gives me the proper height for this sheet. I'm going to select the insertion point on screen, and I will select OK. Before I do that, I do want to point out the modes. It can be invisible, constant, verify, and preset. If you want to know the differences, you can simply click on the help and select, and it will tell you all of the options. It specifies that the attribute values are not displayed. That would be invisible. I'm going to leave these alone for now. I'm going to select OK. It indicates that the tag may not contain spaces. I did this on purpose, leaving a space, and for some reason the tag will not accept a space. So you can always eliminate the space or use an underscore. Selecting OK. And I will place the start point here. The text appears relatively small compared to the other attributes which have already been sized accordingly. And there is the title. Zooming in a little closer. Now, to create the scale, it is very much the same process, but this time I am going to copy the object, and I'll copy it straight down with ortho on. 1/4 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is modify the properties and change the height from 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. Double clicking on it, this tag will now read VTC scale. I will select scale, and the default will be simply 1/8 of an inch. And now I will make the block. The name will be I will select the base point. Using my shift right click, I will use the insertion point of that text, selecting my objects, and they must be selected in the order in which you want the prompts to appear. I first want the title prompt and then the scale. Entering, create icon from block geometry is selected, using inches, and a description, not necessary, but I will put something down in there. And now I will select OK. The minute I click OK, because it's going to convert it to a block, I see the attributes. So the title, and the scale, I can just put anything for now. And there it is. And I can go ahead and copy this into other sheets. And I will scale it up or down based on the viewport.